But yeah, so at the risk of getting thrown out because this seems to be kind of a polarizing subject,
Uh-oh.
y'all believe in aliens?
Yeah, why not?
I'm torn really because I'm not saying that something out there doesn't exist, but I feel like they either have no interest in being here, their land or their planet locked to some extent, like we are, or if they did come, they were like, nah, we're good.
So I think the reason why it's polarizing is because it falls into the conspiracy theory category, and
It
conspiracy,
can.
yeah,
Yeah.
but conspiracy theorists, it's like that's a slippery slope, and like they done went down that rabbit hole, and usually the same folks who are hardcore in the aliens are also flat earthers, lizard people, yada yada yada,
Oh yeah.
deep state, George Soros, all that stuff. So I get why it's polarizing, but like this one, let me have this one. It might just be the sci-fi nerd in me. And, we
Mm-hmm.
done watched all this stuff growing up and all this anime and whatever. So, also just the science nerd in me, like, universe so vast. Well, it happened here. Maybe it happened somewhere else, life. At least intelligent life, right?
The universe is only billions of years old,
Anything
right?
can.
Just a little
Right.
bit.
It didn't happen at least once. The thing that happened here on this planet didn't happen
You
at
would
least
you
once
would
in the
imagine.
entire universe. I don't know.
So like there's that, but then there's like all the recent stuff that's been coming out, and
See, that's where conspiracy can kind of brew up because, like, why is it all
yeah,
coming out now?
I mean, yeah, but
What they trying to
also
cover up?
like I live near a lot of military bases, and when they start being like, yeah, some shit's happening that we don't really know about, that's what gets me, because that's the last thing you want to say as the US military, right? Like, yeah, we don't know. Like,
Oh, that's right. You don't live terribly far. It's not is you're on well no, you're out by the coast. I was thinking you
yeah,
lived
I mean, I'll
closer to
say
DC. It's not
Virginia
terrible
Beach
far.
area.
I
Yeah,
was thinking about the mech sword. You know about the
What?
mech sword.
you said Mex sword,
Mech sword. There's
like
a
Pacific Rim.
I mean, while we're on conspiracies, there's this big sculpture for I think
Oh, you talking about the
the
triangle?
yeah, that's a sword. You know that's a sword, right? That's a sword in its hilt in the ground.
Look,
That's for the mech.
I like that
No idea what
theory.
you're talking about.
My theory was I thought it was a rail gun.
Mm.
See, so if you drive up 95 right towards DC, when you get to Quantico,
Yeah.
yeah, or somewhere around Quantico, there's this big triangle structure, and it has like, I don't want to say a steeple, but think of like a church at like an angle. I don't know what degree angle this is. You see me? uh, and like it has a thing that just like juts out, like pointing kind of over the interstate. And I remember when they were building it, every time we drove by, I was like, yo, what is that? Uh, I just assumed it was, I don't know, railgun. But really, I think it's just a museum, or at least that's what they say. Uh, anyway,
Let me
but
see.
like living near all these military bases, around Virginia Beach, for them to say that, yeah, there's the Oceana base, they're like, yeah, we pick up something on radar almost every day, just chilling over the ocean watching us. And when we
Oh
go to
yeah.
check it out, it's gone. And then they released like the footage of the one that like disappeared, and then it reappeared on radar like 6 miles away in like seconds and stuff like that. And they're just like, look, we don't know. We don't what like I don't know what to tell you. And like more folks, pilots and stuff are like, yeah, I saw this thing. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just trying to like let y'all know that some weird stuff is out there, and I want my folks to be safe. So you guys should take it seriously. Because it could be aliens, or it could be like Australia. We don't know,
Hmm.
but figure that shit out. And that shit is wild to me. But also, like, it's just intriguing. I feel like it's a safe conspiracy theory until it's not.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got aliens out there watching us, or doing stuff just out there, but they ain't messing with nobody, So my whole thing is, if you ain't hurting nobody, then I don't care. So
I'm pretty jaded about the whole thing, but if they ever came down, I would hope that they just do one thing. There's like public service announcement where the aliens, we didn't put nothing in nobody's butts.
look, that
That's
was not
y'all.
us.
That's
Y'all thought
y'all.
of that. That was a
I don't know.
fanfic.
That's not a thing. Why would we do that? We would just cut you open. Why would we put something like that? Mm-mm. That's a y'all thing.
So there's like going back to the military stuff, there was that Iranian general or something, or ex-general, that was like, so here's what it is. There's aliens, the governments know about it, they just don't want to talk about it because they don't really, know for sure. But basically they're like waiting to see if we could get our shit together so they can invite us to join the Federation. But really we're still stupid and squabbling, so they ain't about it. But they're kind of just watching us to see until we get our stuff together. And then like everybody was like, "Oh, this dude's crazy." And then like a year or two later, that's when the U.S. military started saying, "Yeah, we see this stuff, yada yada yada." And it was just like, "Oh snap, he might be not be that crazy." Uh, I mean,
Welcome to the secret group of brown kids talks about shit you should know.
look, this is where I stand on it. Like, I find this stuff interesting, but also I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I know it's the folks down there aren't people I want to talk to.
Oh
So
no.
like, I follow UFO Sky on Blue Sky, but I don't like it.
Mhm.
Like
It's kind of the way I feel about like I find
Checkmate.
ghost hunting stuff interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I know a guy. Well, I used to know a guy. I don't talk to him anymore. He runs a ghost hunting business, and I was like, sir, I feel like that's the step too far.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
But-
like I
but-
regulate myself.
If I had stupid money,
Oh,
you know for a fact. I mean, like, I'm gonna have a metal detector on the beach. I'm gonna have like an audio recorder for AVPs. I'm gonna have like a high quality camera just in case. Who knows?
I'm 1,000% with you.
I took a picture of an old radio that's at my dad's house and put on Facebook years and years ago, and that motherfucker had the nerve to say, "Man, I'll buy that off of you because that one reads radio waves just right to detect ghosts." I was like, "Motherfucker, we
That's
just
funny.
Just do it.
I'd sell it.
Just do it.
I was like, "What the fuck?"
It's just a fucking boombox with like a CD, a cassette tape.
It's basically just a random one speaker radio with a handle, and he was like, "No, like it detects like a certain amount of static because of the." I was like, "Bro, no. One, it's broken. Two, stop. You got kids to feed."
And then he's like, I'll give you 3,000 for it. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
but yeah. On that note, thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? Well, it's a secret, but you might be able to
conspiracy.
find us. It's a conspiracy, but you might be able to find us alone at home. So lonely, we'd be kind of okay with an alien invasion because at least then we'd have some company.
Yeah.
Damn, that was sad.
Burned.
And my name is Tivzilla, your host on this podcast. I make my friends watch movies with me and then talk about their feelings. And on the panel today, the brother from another planet, Tim,
Meteor Man.
Nice.
and the man who fell to Earth, Ren.
It hurt a lot.
And
That's
the movie
excised from
today
God's kingdom.
is No One Will Save You. This year, just came out a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the hype and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch it because we weren't gonna start
Spooky season.
spooky season. I was gonna do this whole thing like I was trying to figure out if I want to call it the spooky group of brown kids, but I was like that.
Oh, them perfect.
Nah, that might get us. I don't know. Once I say it, it didn't feel spooky.
You could have gone with it.
Yeah.
You could have gone with it.
There's a mild argument going around this year whether spook is okay to say, and I'm like, you talk about ghosts though. You talking
Yeah.
about ghosts though. Context.
But see, the context matters. But then when you put it directly next to brown
Brown
kids,
kids.
Yes.
I was like,
it starts to fall into a at
so I'm
that
gonna just.
point.
I was like, what about secret group of spook kid? No,
Oh.
Spooky,
secret group of spooky bread. That's worse.
spooky
And then I was-
group of boo kids. I got nothing. Sorry.
We'll work on it. We'll figure it out. We got a whole month to get it together.
Well, we'll make it up in this episode. We'll cut it and then put it at the beginning.
Brown something.
But yeah, scary movie season.
Yeah, there we go.
I was like, we can start it like next week when we'll do 3 weeks of it. And I was like, wait, but this new movie just came out. I don't really want us to talk about it.
Right.
But that would mean all of October is scary.
That's
Scary
fine.
movies. And it's
Scary
like,
group of
yeah.
brown kids. Oh, that's worse. That's not better.
Well, anyway, so our first scary movie, uh, reviewed by Brown Kids, not spooky Brown Kids, is it's about an exiled, anxiety-ridden homebody must battle an alien who's found its way into her home, and it had a New York and LA theatrical release, but 3 days later it came out on Hulu and video on demand, so everyone should be able to see it now.
I took a Kareem style of entry into this one. I had only seen the name, and I assumed it was about scary stuff, but I didn't watch a preview. I went in completely blind, and wow.
Shout
I
out
would have
Kareem.
liked to, but I saw a little clip, and I'm like, I'm gonna add that to the list. And then I did, but I didn't watch anything else for it before going in.
I wish I didn't watch anything. I think I saw a comment
Mm-hmm.
that talked about the alien, and I was like, damn it. I would love to go in completely blind, but it's hard because in the
Internet.
description it says it's an alien and everything. So, like, if you would have to just be like, hey, watch this movie, don't look up anything else. Which, by the way, next week we're doing Malignant and Barbarian. Do not look up shit about those movies.
All right.
Just go in.
Right.
So directed by Brian Duffield. Only thing he directed so far is Spontaneous. He wrote some movies though: Insurgent, Jane Got a Gun, The Babysitter. Babysitter was
On
that
Netflix.
Netflix,
Yeah.
horror comedy. Underwater, which I want to do someday. I love that movie, but that's another one you should go in blind to. But I think by now, like the spoiler is even on the posters now
No, funny.
because they were trying to like pull people in. But I went in blind to that, and I was like, "Yo!"
I just realized you said directed by, and I saw something I guess no one else probably saw that creeped me out. Is that apparently someone involved in it is named Tim White, so my name was on the screen.
I saw
was
that,
like,
and I forgot to write down.
and
that
I was
note.
like, "What am I looking at?" I had to like stop and like look multiple times when the producer's name is Tim White. It was just big as day. I was like, I did what? What did I do? What did I do?
How wild would it have been if you like clicked on his name and you
There's
saw
your
your
picture.
face?
Well, just last week I was watching a newscast and it was like, we're gonna go to reporter Tim White, and I was like, the fuck's going on? This is
Camera just out of nowhere.
And I'm just sitting on the bed like, I don't know what happened. Why are you talking to me?
If I was a meaner friend, I'd Photoshop you into various places and then just find insert pictures and just not say anything and just see if you noticed. And you're like, wait, that's me.
It's just like pictures from like Blurred Con where I know I wouldn't have fucking that.
Look,
I wasn't at that one.
And then I'm just fucking with you and I'm fueling the fire. It's like, hey man, what if like you came back from the future or something? Like, don't. But yeah, starring Caitlin Dever. I think that's how you say it. I know her from Booksmart. She's been in quite a few things. Though.
So I still haven't seen Booksmart. That's what she's in. Yeah. Okay.
She was the one that isn't Jonah Hill's sister. I forgot her name too. So that's disrespectful. I'm sorry.
So the movie was just the other movie, but for girls. That's weird. I didn't even know about the Jonah Hill's sister thing.
Super bad.
Y'all just made Super Bad for girls. What the hell?
Oh,
that's not nice.
Yeah,
it was fine.
No, but he's saying like it's a Booksmart. They called it Super Bad for girls, but he didn't know that one of the main characters is Jonah Hill's sister.
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
They don't have the same last name because he changed his name.
You're gonna end up changing it again when everybody remembers how bad of it. Never mind. Actors.
Oh yeah. So we also got Zach Duhame, Geraldine Singer, Dane Rhodes. I don't know any of these people.
No, never heard of them.
No disrespect to them, but keep it moving. Budget was $23 million.
Okay,
I think that checks out. There's a lot of CGI, but it's also in the dark.
Yeah, I could have Silent Hill brought the brightness on this movie a couple of times.
Yeah, I don't think they paid. I don't think the $23 million was part of like paying actors, though. I mean, like, like there wasn't a lot. There, I mean, the lead actress was the biggest name. It felt like.
Yeah, and it was everything was on her shoulders because she was 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think somewhere I had it written down. There was only 5 lines of dialogue, 9 words total in the movie.
It was
like
utterly silent.
For you to be credited as an actor, you have to have a line of dialogue, right? So most of the people we saw were just technically extras.
Mm-hmm.
Like the policeman and his wife or whatever, they don't
Yep.
utter words.
No,
And I
no.
didn't think about
Nobody.
that. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that until much later in the movie. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
first spoken word is at 1 hour and 9 minutes in the movie.
Yeah. For 15 minutes, I was just watching. I'm like, nobody said a damn thing, and I'm like, okay, now I have to change how I'm watching this.
So yeah, like because then a lot of the info you find out about her is just from it's in like the gravestone and then the letter she's writing and
Mhm.
stuff like
Mhm.
that. But yeah, CGI could like she's not that big of a name, so maybe like so she probably came in pretty cheap, and then she's the only named actor for real.
Mhm.
Then CGI, if they were just slow with it, because that's another thing I realized. Like you can get cheap CGI if you give them time. It's the rule of three, right? So like you can get
Oh
something.
yeah.
You can't have all three, but you can have two out of the three. You can have something done fast, something done good, and something done cheap.
Cheap.
So like you can get decent CGI, but if you give them the time to work on it, so then
Mhm.
it's good. And what was the other one? I already forgot.
Cheap.
It's going to take a
See.
long time and it's cheap, but
Mhm.
it's going to take a while, right? So that's why like Disney, all those millions of dollars go to the actors and then like the VFX, but they also want the VFX done in like 6 months. So they got to pay more. But like the creator, that budget was $80 million, and almost every shot has CGI in it, and that was done for 80 million. Like it was,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's one way to think about it. Also, I don't know if you remember a long time ago, like there was a movie named Skyline, and it was done by two brothers who did VFX, and they did their own VFX, and they were able to make a whole alien invasion movie heavy on VFX for like 9 million or some bullshit.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
yeah, they ended up making like two or three more sequels, and yeah, this whole thing. Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes. Do you agree with this? Audience 57, critics 81. I do.
Yeah, I could see a lot of people being like, "Ain't nobody talking."
That was
like it's definitely it's not that action packed, it's not that scary. This is a real good horror movie for like a young teenager that you
Yeah.
don't
I
got to
was saying the
worry
same
about them
thing.
really. Yeah,
I felt more anxious than anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
on like I don't want to say a critical level, but like there's a lot of deep stuff going on, and it's metaphorical and all that stuff, and that was kind of neat. So I can see why the critics like it, and they love when you get a small movie out of nowhere and it's 90
mhm.
minutes.
Yeah.
It holds their interest because when you're invested, you're like, yo, I want to see her kind of make it. Also, what's going on with her? Like
You
clearly,
got
like
Mhm.
there's something
what were
else.
they saying on the dissolve? It's got a real A24 feel.
Lord Jesus,
So that's the
Yeah.
barometer for everything
No,
now.
like
If it's good,
it means nothing,
if it's
and
not
it
a
makes me mad
popcorn,
that people
yeah.
were trying to make it a thing. It's like that's
yeah,
not fair.
but
Don't say that.
Look,
it's really real criterion material.
Yeah.
there's a lot of movies that you wouldn't consider an A24
Right.
movie, but it's
I'm
just
gonna
the
just
popular ones get the
yeah.
thing going.
I'm gonna just start lying every time I like a movie. I'm gonna say it's by A24.
No, it's very A24.
That Baby Driver, you like that? You like Baby
Oh
Driver?
my
That's
gosh.
A24.
Yeah, Captain America 4.
Yeah,
A24.
A24.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maleficent.
Uh, or I'm gonna do the opposite and just be like, man, this is such a neon movie.
No.
Neon is the other so to be fair, A24 had like their whole like mission statement is to get movies from a certain point of view. So
Yeah.
you can have an A24 feel, I guess, but like it's just obnoxious at this point.
No, it's shorthand for I liked it and I
Mhm.
want to
And it
look
was
cool.
yeah, yeah.
But
But
it
like
dilutes like
Neon,
what makes it special as
Right.
yeah. Neon
sets it
has the
aside.
same type of movies, but no one's like, oh, it's A24 or a Neon movie. No,
It's
they
it's
just
like
go
a
straight to
16-year-old back in 1992 saying everything reminds him of Green Day
A24. Yeah.
just because he likes it.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, no, this isn't any. This is literally a different band. It's called Nirvana. They don't remind you of Green Day. You just like it. Just say you like it.
Yeah, but anytime you watch an indie movie or that type of just something slightly off, not
Mhm.
a popcorn movie, and you go to the letterbox reviews, every other one very A24. Anyway, so I get the 57 audience because they probably went in and think because everyone's hyping it up right now, so they
Yeah.
probably went to watch it, and then it wasn't, like, mind-blowing, but for the critics, like, it's small, cool, and they did a lot of neat stuff that
It's very solidly
yeah,
done.
that
Yeah,
you might not care about as a general audience viewer, but as a critic or someone who watches a lot of movies, you see
it
it and
was
it's like,
neat.
"That was kinda yeah, that
Yeah.
was neat, that's well
Mhm.
done."
Um,
Especially, like, in the package,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
like, a $23 million package, and you got that
Mhm.
out of it? That's
Yeah,
better than a lot of stuff
not
in
a lot of
theaters.
that budget was, spent on lighting, but I'll
Yeah,
give 'em props for making a
So
good movie.
here's the thing. I'm going to compare this movie to Shutter Island a lot
mhm,
in that they're completely different approaches
mhm,
to like not just like mental like tension kind of stuff, but even how they were shot, how you know what I mean, how little dialogue there is in this and how much of the story is told with the
mhm.
lack of it. Whereas it
Yeah.
feels like you need all of the dialogue in Shutter Island to tell the kind of story they're trying to tell.
Yeah,
Um,
I see that.
like the
Mm,
music really plays such a huge part in
Mhm.
kind of breaking down
Well,
how
no,
she's
yeah.
feeling, and there's just so little dialogue is really fun.
yeah. But yeah, before we get into it, I want to shout out New York, whoever that is in New York listening. I see you. Also, Missouri and Florida, and somebody in the Netherlands who
Ayo.
I have an uncle in the
Wow,
Netherlands
it's him. No,
knows I podcast. But I never told him the name, so
Hmm.
I don't know if he's the type that would,
He just
do
typed out
some digging.
Tifron's podcast.
yeah.
If that popped up or
I
what,
mean,
but if
how many
it's you,
Tifrons are there? I mean, it could work.
I mean, yeah. If that's you, Unc, shout out you. If it's not you, shout out Netherlands, whoever. But yeah, moving forward, we're gonna spoil the movie. You should go see it. It's on Hulu. Steal a password. They haven't blocked the password sharing yet. Or I think it's on video on demand if you got $20.
I feel like Hulu and Disney Plus would they take away from their brand if they declined you to use the password in multiple places because they're banking on the people that have that service. Those are the people that have multiple houses. You ain't like unlogging out in one place so you can log out of your vacation house. You can
I
do that.
mean, they said it's coming, and I don't know if it's gonna work out for them, but we'll see.
Hmm.
Tiff, I will say that if you type in Tiffron's podcast, your name does not pop up.
Hey,
No, sir, I got keeping it creepy with Jerry and Cat is when I
for real?
searched it. That's what I got.
Dang, we're a secret. Yeah, so we already kind of started talking about it, but how
Sorry.
you feel
Yeah.
about it? Oh, you're good. I mean, we all did. How do you feel about it? Like a concise, statement.
I thought it was excellent. It was a tight watch. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like they wasted any time despite not using any talking the entire time. I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions.
I thought it was solid, really fun, and like the whole time, I just kind of I don't know. I was trying to like take this in as a person who has lived in a small town where there's like practically nobody, and that what I know what it feels like to like walk into the post office and have several people look at me like, hmm. So I
There
kind of was
goes
like,
Timothy White.
I couldn't tell if this was a we don't know you well enough or we know more about you than we want to. At first, I wasn't sure which one it was. Um, I just liked kind of everything about it. The weird thing is, it's a short runtime, but about halfway through the movie, I was like, I thought this was short because it feels longer than it is.
They look when I
It
was
wasn't a drag, but it was just like, wow,
there's so much going on.
right.
Look, I knew that this would be quick and breezy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it twice. I'm gonna give it an honest watch. And then that's the first time I watched it was at noon in the day, and I was like, this is a mistake because it's such a dark movie. It's so light outside, I can't see shit.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, on my second watch, well, that's when I'll like make out the template. And
they're
it
trying to
took me
make you
so
watch it at night.
long because I kept pausing to make sure I was like, okay, I need to mention that. I need to mention that. And I was like, yo, I still got 60 minutes left of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so much happens in that 90 minutes. I was like, damn. I mean, it technically is a breezy movie, but they got a lot in.
Hmm.
And almost everything that happens, like nothing feels useless. So damn. But yeah, I liked it. I really liked it. Where does it rank in like all my horror stuff? I don't know. I might figure it out by the end of the episode, but it was fun. I'm glad it exists because one thing I want to see more is Alien
Yes.
Horror movies, there's not a lot.
That's why when you brought this up, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, there's
Hell
not a
yeah.
lot. And like the one that I like is called Dark Skies, and everybody fucking hates that one. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just shut up then.
That
I
sounds
And
feel
vaguely
like
familiar.
Dark Skies was pretty good.
unless I'm saying the wrong damn movie.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the right name. I think
That one
I
had
thought that was
grays in
pretty
it
good.
too, right? Like the
Yeah.
gray aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
2013.
Sounds about right. But yeah, people shat all over it, so I got real quiet. I was like, well, I
No,
liked it.
this was okay. I don't remember a lot about it, but this was an okay movie.
Should have said it was A24.
Uh,
It's Bloomhouse, it looks like. I trust it.
Bloomhouse is old school A24.
Nobody says that anymore.
Oh, man.
Aesthetic.
But on that note, let me
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Sorry.
so let's get through let's get into it. We're wacky today. Spooky season, baby.
About time. It's so long.
It's not funny if I say spooky season, but once
Spoop.
I add the brown kids.
You know, they say spook. Can we say spoop? Can we make spoop into a slur?
We don't want to make a new slur.
Spoopy. That boy spoopy. he a spoop. Oops.
Crap.
Ooh, it sounds harsh.
We're going to
When
get
you do it that way.
retroactively canceled when spoop becomes an actual slur. I found out the secret is where spoopy comes from.
I don't think the internet would let it happen. They love the word spoopy too much.
Yeah, they'd be like, please no.
I almost went with spoopy group of brown kids, but it just don't sound right. Spoopy don't sound right coming from a big black man. Like my big ass is spoopy season.
Yeah, you guys don't stop saying it. Like, I think you should just do it. Just embrace it now.
What up, my spoop? Anyway.
Oh, God damn it.
Film starts out with a 20-something-year-old woman named Bryn sewing a dress and getting ready to head out for the day. And on her way out, she notices a ring-shaped patch of brown grass in the lawn and hurries up and grabs the water hose to put some water on it. Now, at the moment, it looked like she had somewhere to be and probably could have waited to water this damn grass. But as a dude who kind of tries to maintain his lawn, I get it.
I kind of feel like she could have at least put her stuff down and then came back, but she was trying to tote all of her Etsy packages at the same time.
It was Etsy. Yeah.
No, she looks exactly like someone would look if their name was Bryn. So
yeah,
like they got that down.
She looks like a Bryn, and she looks like she sells custom-made dresses on Etsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for dolls, like for miniatures.
Yeah,
like not like actual dresses.
She got her little dollhouse in the house, so she got a miniature town. She's in there.
She's portrayed as being like hapless. She's capable, but she's constantly like, I don't know, mental burden.
She can craft an entire outfit, but like she probably would freak out if the right spoon wasn't in the drawer for her to use.
That's fair.
Then, yeah,
I will say
valid.
That house
I feel
is immaculate before shit gets real.
It's a nice house.
Like she'd been taking care of it for at least 3 years at this point, maybe. But yeah, like she doing better than me. I'd have spider webs and shit up. Like,
oh yeah,
I got spider webs now.
Absolutely.
In fact, like last night, my wife was flipping out because there was 8 spiders in the garage. So I got to figure that
out. Where's my extra spider? Supposed to have 9 spiders.
But yeah, so before she drives off, she looks at her in the mirror. She looks at herself in the mirror, and she seems nervous. After she heads out, we see her come to a stop in front of a house, and like she waves at a guy. But the way he looks at her and turns his back, like lets us know that like he don't fuck with her anymore, and like not just the, I don't like you. It's like a love lost kind of thing. Like
that looked like 2 middle fingers.
Yeah,
that face looked like 2 middle fingers. He was not having it.
We used to be cool, but now we're not, kind of thing. Like he like looked at her, rolled eyes, and turned his back on her and walked. Man.
Well, initially you presume it's like a lover's quarrel kind of deal. You know what I mean? He's disgusted with her, but then she gets into town.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's got the same like patent disgust for her.
So yeah, she pulls into town and like she tried like you see her like we don't see it yet, but you see her hurry up and like toss the stuff in the mailbox and then
Mhm.
gets back in the car. Like, but I don't know why she was rushing. Well, at first I didn't know why she was rushing. And then she's at the cemetery sitting next to a gravestone that says Sarah Adams, 1972 to 2019, loving mother of Bryn. All right, so her mama died. You know, she's at
That's
the grave now.
that's like such a sad like inscription.
Look, I thought
Like
that
that's
too.
all you did.
That was
That's
it.
all anybody knows that you did. Loving mother to Brand. That's it. Like we loved you. We miss you. We'll never be like nah. Just the shit she did. Just this. Just Brand.
If anything, it holds up just based on how quirky Bryn is. Like the two of them just had each other
Mm.
kind of deal. Like, I mean, if we didn't know that Bryn had another friend, then it would be like, oh yeah, that's definitely the type of girl whose best friend is her mom.
No, yeah, okay, fair,
Yeah.
fair. I forgot she also drives a Subaru Outback.
Outback.
Ew.
She is the package.
Yeah.
You know she has Uggs. You know it.
On the contrary, she only dresses in clothes that she's thrifted from thrift
Yeah, she
store
made 'em.
in the 70s.
Oh, then yeah, it's probably the dresses she made. Yeah.
Yeah, because the one that she was sewing was like a similar fabric to the one that she wore, and then the I don't want to say blouse, the top she wears afterwards.
Kind of explains why she's still in the town if she and her mom were super close like that. Because so far it just doesn't seem like people like her very much. I would have pieced out, but
Look,
if
Yeah, I would have bailed.
if this is what she has, it makes sense that
yeah,
she's
like
just
all
still
she had
there.
was her mom, and yeah, so she's holding on to it.
It does kind of seem interesting that so part of the $23 million thing, the package for this movie, it was interesting because they didn't take the whole town back in time. This is happening currently, but everything feels very like 1970s isolated. We only use corded phones kind of deal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Apparently, it's a real town in Louisiana.
Which I don't doubt, but it's like you don't see a lot of cell phones, a lot of
Yeah.
engagement with like current technology. You know what I mean?
Oh, good point. She didn't pull out a cell phone to call
Yeah.
911.
You see a TV once, and it is a flat screen, but there's only a single scene. Nobody else is on a cell phone.
You know, they really don't go there, but there's a possibility, just me taking a mild stretch here. If she if she wasn't using Etsy or selling those dresses on the internet, it was just orders that someone sent to her in the mail.
Yeah.
That Subaru Outback is the newest car ever shown. Could be this movie takes place in 2000.
Oh no, we know it's at least 2019 because
Yeah, the Tombstone.
Oh, no, 2019
Yeah.
is Super Zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went a little too criterion on that. Sorry.
You
dial back to A24, but
Yeah, slow down with the conspiracies, guy.
Calm down on that Bloomhouse.
But yeah, it's interesting because they didn't spend a ton of money turning the entire town back. It's like they found a good town that had an old feeling to it. But they don't have everybody driving old cars.
They could have definitely used my dad's they could have used my dad's town. It would have worked almost the same.
Hampton, North Carolina.
Yeah, plenty of towns in North Carolina where it's just like, oops, turn around. We went back to 1993. Just go back to the highway.
I believe you because actually it's a year ago, a couple days ago, lost a friend, and we went to his funeral in Shelby, North Carolina.
Oh my God, that's
when we got there, we were like, bro, like there was a whole festival happening that day, and it was like I forgot what it's called. They have this thing that
was it a fall kind of fall festival?
It was a dog and something festival.
Oh, God.
And the something was essentially like spackle, but not spackle. It's similar to it, and they call it something else.
Having been to Shelby twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a dog and something like spackle festival. And
I went
like,
there once to pick.
Two...
I was there to pick up a car one time, and like I felt like the old man was stretching time.
Yeah,
because she's like, "Well, let's go ahead and have a look at it. I know my son showed it to you on the internet, but you might want to see it up close. Let me show you the whole nine." And he's like unlocking all the doors and opening the hood, and I'm like,
"If you showed,
you get the fuck out of my way. I know what I'm doing."
Of like you trying to hurry up. He would definitely be like, "Oh, you city
now
folk.
hold on a second. Take your time. Take your time." I remember him saying, "Take your time." So many goddamn times. It's like, bro, Bro, we are pulling a dolly up to this thing right now. Please stop talking. You don't have
Uh,
to give me cash if you don't have it. I'll take a check. This is an envelope with the money. Please stop talking.
Take your time.
I'll
yeah,
go ahead
so
and count this if you don't mind. Just like to take my time. Oh my fuck.
Funny thing about this banknote here.
Do you remember when the dollars looked like this? Oh, I'm going to strangle you.
I'd like to give you change, but I only have $2 bills.
My son should have been here by now, but he lives life a little fast. Let me tell you a story about when he moved to Charlotte. Like, oh my God, I don't care anymore.
Now, this is back when Charlotte was mostly farms and ranches. I'm going to stop.
Practically that.
It's never going to end.
Practically that. I'm so lonely. Please talk to me.
So back to Bryn. So Bryn hears some people nearby as she's leaving, and like though they're out of focus, you could tell that they're like looking and talking about her. And she waves, but she's clearly like uncomfortable, right? And then she sees this middle-aged couple, like the husband is a cop, and she ducks behind the car. And that was kind of odd. But then in the next scene, we see her back home, and she's writing a letter to someone named Maud. And she said, "Dear Maud, I saw your parents today."
Dear Slim.
So then she sees the mailman pull up with the package, and he gets out, and like he pretends it's a basketball, and he tosses it.
Absolute disrespect.
Disrespectful. But she doesn't even like let that like ruin her excitement for the package, and she like runs up, picks it up, shakes it a little, and like you see her run back to the house with it. Also, you see that her mailbox is like halfway smashed into. So all these little tidbits. But then we get a montage of her listening to music and dancing with herself and opening the package to see that it's a new model for her model village.
Mm.
And then she's like cooking dinner, and she's continuing to write the letter to Maud. And like then we see stuff. If you can like pause it, you can see it say stuff like, "It's been 10 years. God, I miss you. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself. And a little lonely." And then but it's like there's upbeat music playing this whole time, she's still dancing, and then like mid dance she gets a call. She runs to the phone, and like she picks it up and hangs it up right away, but like in that brief moment all you heard was, "You're a fuck."
Hey, so technically that's the first bit of dialogue.
Oh,
Oh, that's terrible.
right.
Because I was looking for it the whole time, just like listening. I'm like, okay, she's gasping, she's crying, she's okay. And then I just hear out of nowhere, "You're a and then I'm like, okay, all right. First
You're
line.
right, that is technically the first line. You don't know who says it, but yeah, it's over the phone.
Director, he's like, I can do that. That's fine.
We just need a placeholder, and we're using that one.
It's like, I don't want to pay an extra actor.
But yeah, as she gets ready for bed that night, we see a picture of two girls. Like, one is a younger version of her, and then there's another girl, and then it says like Maud and Bryn, BFFs. Then in the middle of the night, after she's asleep, we see all the lights cut on for like a little bit, and then it cuts back off, and then the sound of something with the trash cans outside like wakes her up. And she goes to investigate, but once she reaches the top of the stairs, she sees like a figure walking outside the windows, or I guess it was scurrying. And then it gets inside the house. Like it goes out like off frame and like comes through a door or something. And the figure now inside comes partially into view on the other side of, Tim, you might know what this is called. I'm not sure. But it was like a decorative screen kind of deal. Like, you know that it's like one of those things that it'll be in like the priest's confessional.
Oh,
like,
I forgot. I remember what you're talking about. I can't think of like the name of it.
The partition?
Yeah.
That's probably the closest thing. Just something like that.
Some sort of decorative partition, right? I don't know why I was stuck on what that thing is actually called. But yeah, so it comes in kind of in a view on the other side of that. And like Bryn tries to quietly move back, but the floor creaks. And like you see like the thing turn and like look at her. And then she just starts hauling ass and it starts chasing her up the steps. And like she goes back in the room, slams the door, and she jumps on the bed. And then she hears it coming. So then she jumps on the far side of the bed just as it opens the door. And this is when we see, it's kind of out of focus, but we can see, oh, it's an alien. And like specifically, like they call them grays, like that tall, skinny, big head, big eye, gray skin alien. Side note, this is when I realized, like, usually when they're that but short, they're green, but when they're tall, they're gray. Is that a thing?
I don't necessarily think so. I think I see a lot more grays than greens.
I
But
think when I see green, it's a stylized thing, like a logo on like a EDM album or
I think like
something.
Mars Attacks or like Marvin and
ack,
Martin.
ack, ack,
But like
ack, ack,
usually
ack,
they're like
ack, ack.
I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
I'm
Sarah Jessica
thinking
Parker
too
got
much
a Chihuahua body.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
into
gross.
that was weird.
it.
I had a lot of feelings about that. I didn't like any of
Any of the Sex in the Cities or Mars Attacks. So anyway,
them.
so the creature gets on top of the bed as like Bryn slides under it, and then it hops off the bed onto the floor. And from Bryn's point of view, you see its feet, and then it like hikes up on its toes, but its toes are really like
Toes are
Yeah.
fingers.
like finger
And
stubs.
then
It's
and
got
then
these
he just
crazy prehensile knuckles on his
yeah, and
toes.
then it
I was
just
like, yo.
he just walks away on his finger toes,
I was
and then
like,
climbs
bruh.
out the window.
It's like I'm doing a handstand. He just kind of like
Look,
cruises around the room.
They call
that
that the plies.
that shit was so funny to me. Like I'm sure that had to be just like a reference to something, and or they're just being funny.
They
But
got them
like
Bugs Bunny feet when he's trying to like sneak away.
That tinkling noise. Tink, 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 tink. He's sneaking.
that's where it's from. Like I had it in my head. I didn't realize it was Bugs Bunny. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna stop here. You're Bryn. You're under the bed, and you just see this shit. What's going through your head?
Immediately, no, thank you.
But yeah,
I better fucking wake up.
Look.
I better not talk right now. It'd be a real shame if I break my vow of silence.
Yeah, I might have just stayed under the bed. Like she got up and shut the window. I don't even know if I would have been able to pull myself
Oh
together.
no, I would have just stayed there. We're like, okay,
Honestly,
this
I
is
wouldn't
good.
even have gotten
This,
up
you
to
know,
mess with the trash cans.
I hope I don't fall asleep and snore. Like just not
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah, I would have got while I was asleep because
Sleeping too hard.
yeah, but yeah. So Bryn jumps up, shuts the window, then goes downstairs to shut the door. But she's hearing movement on the roof. Then all the lights and electric
The
appliances
fiddler.
cut on and off. Cuts on and off. And she ends up in the kitchen and sees the alien coming down the stairs. And she hides in like a cut between the fridge and the counter.
Mm-hmm.
But Brenna tried to use the phone before she saw the alien, and it was still hanging off the receiver. And now it's like making that noise, right?
Their
And-
voice, the alien voice was like really cool but scary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It was
obviously
making, like,
that's the
clicks and
point, but it was like,
grunts and shit.
whoa, that's too much.
So then we see the alien hang up the phone, and like Bryn sees it too through a reflection. I'm not sure what the reflection was, if it was an oven or something. But then the alien sees her through the reflection, and then you just see the fridge door swing out and like trap her in her little cut, in her little hiding spot. And so then we just see him like peek over the fridge at her. The way this alien was fucking with us. So anyway, peeks over the fridge at her, and she like kicks the door open and runs. And like she ends up in the room that she had her model village in, right? But then all of a sudden the village or the table flips over and all the models get smashed up. And then she gets grabbed from behind and like dragged backwards on the floor. But nobody's behind her. Like she like gets dragged like a little bit, and then she starts getting dragged again, and she grabs like a piece of one of the models that broke off, right? And I think it's the piece from the one she just got that day. It was like a school
Yeah.
with the bell tower. So as she's getting dragged,
It's got a little bell on the top of it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
we see that it's the alien like just around the corner using telekinesis, and like you see him like gesturing his hand, like pulling her towards him, and then he like makes her like go straight up and spins her around, and
She sticks her arm out.
that's right. Yeah, she like yeah. So spins it around, and then like the camera is behind the alien's head, and like we're looking at Bryn's face, and she's shocked. And like at first, it's like, oh, she's just shocked because she's face to face with an alien. But then the camera pans to the other side of the alien's head, and she had stabbed that piece of bell tower into the side of his head when he whipped her around.
Yeah, she said, for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. And then she fucking just crammed it in his temple.
Puss in Boots could have learned something from But yeah, so then we see like the alien's face, and he's like dying. So
Yeah.
he falls on her, and like she runs from under him, and runs to the far wall, and turns back, and then sees him completely like go flat, and like she's just in fucking shock at this point, and like the music picks up. And then we get this cool transition from her freaking out on the wall to being in the exact same spot, but now it's daytime.
Hmm.
And I guess she was just in shock the whole time.
His eyes open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because now she's like starting to come to. Like she was never like asleep or anything, but clearly she was like catatonic or something. So now she's starting to come to, and it's like, oh, now I have this dead alien in my house. So she gets up, covers the corpse with a blanket, and it's funny as she's covering him with the blanket, the little bell is ringing.
Hmm.
Then she tries to call 911, but there's no signal. And she's like bumbling around the house because her foot has glass in or had glass in it. And she's trying to figure out like what works and what doesn't. So there's no power, no phone, but the water works and the gas works, which makes sense if the alien has like some EMP shit going on.
Which will
Mm.
come into play later too.
Yeah. Okay, so she gets herself cleaned up, and she has to take her bike into town because the car also doesn't work. And on the way there, like as soon as she gets on the street, basically, the next house over, I think, is the house we saw her stop at earlier. And so, like in front of that house, there's a flipped over mail truck.
Hmm.
So
Bro,
I guess the mailman got his right.
alien says, "Stop basketball in my mail."
And then in front of that house, the lawn had a whole bunch of different brown rings in the grass, like the one we saw earlier. So she makes it into town, and she goes into the police station and immediately runs into Maud's parents. And then they're
Hmm.
just kind of staring at each other, all, or she's anxious. They're pissed off. And the mom spits in Bryn's face.
I was completely taken
Man,
aback.
man, me too. It was like, bruh, like, cause I mean, she's an adult, but she's still like young. And then this girl, just seeing a grown woman spitting another, like, in this girl's face,
I was put off. I
yo,
was like, "Damn,
and
that's like check off spit." What does she do?
Jesus. And the cop dad, he had like the mom storms off, and the cop dad kind of hesitates, like he wants to say something, but also he don't like her either.
Yeah.
So then he just walks out, and then she looks up, spit on her face still, at like the cops that were behind the desk, and then they just kind of look away,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Again.
then she
The cop's
starts,
like, "My name Bennett. I ain't in it."
yeah. I think the dad is actually the police chief.
Hmm.
So and it's like another layer of I ain't even about the you know. So she starts having a panic attack, and like she leaves the police station because clearly they ain't about to help her. And you see that's when you see other people giving her mean looks and stuff. And she tries to like unlock her bike, but she's breaking down too fast to really get it together to unlock the damn bike. So then she runs away, and she's like on the side of a building trying to breathe, and she sees a Greyhound bus, and she was like, all right, well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. We see her on the bus with like a cap and shades, and a little disguise, generic disguise.
She really put on the Korean drama disguise. She got that Marvel
Ball cap.
Captain America ball cap.
Captain America's disguise.
So she's on the bus, and we see a guy from the back of the bus get up and then sit behind her, and like I guess she senses this shit too, so she like tries to move and was like, that's kind of weird. But then the dude grabs her and turns her around, and like that's when we see his throat clearly has something in it, like
Oh
it's
yeah.
wiggling, and she sees it too, and like, oh, and he's also like the sounds he's making is the same sounds that the aliens make,
Yeah.
the like clicking, and I don't know what you call that. But yeah, so she tries to get away from him. She falls backwards, and then like another dude tries to like help her up, but the first guy like knocks that dude out the way, and he's clearly like trying to attack Bryn. So she's like scurrying backwards, and then somebody else reaches down, but this lady is clearly an alien too, or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so bus driver sees all this shit, sees dude climbing across the seats. Like he wasn't even walking anymore. He was literally like spider crawling across the seats.
Yeah, like up on the top section, like going like hand over hand
Yeah,
over the lane, like
which kind
just
of takes some skill,
Mhm.
respect.
He
The
ad
bus
libbed
driver,
that.
Yeah, the bus driver slams on the brakes, and then we cut to Bryn hauling it like she was. I mean, that's how you got to run when
Yeah.
fucking aliens are trying to get you. Hauling ass away from the bus, and like the first dude that attacked her, he came off, but now he's just walking, so she gets away. But like as she's running away, you can hear other people screaming off in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
I had the subtitles on, so it was like woman screams,
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, you realize it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers
Yeah.
Very
kind of
much.
deal. So it's just like, oh, cool, because that kind of changes the pace of the movie. It's not just
Mhm.
her experience
Yeah.
in a house. Is like, oh, not only will she
No,
not
she's
be
not
saved.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not only that she won't be saved because she's the town pariah. It's also because the town doesn't exist anymore.
So on top of not being like super popular, she also
Mm.
isn't sure who she can trust at all now.
Yeah,
Yep.
because obviously you
Very
can't trust cops.
isolated.
Was that AAAB? All aliens are bastards?
Only if they're cops.
Ab.
Was it 1112?
So on the way, I'm sorry, Bryn eventually ends up at the cemetery again, and like we see her looking at Maud's gravestone,
Mm-hmm.
but then she sees like an ominous cloud rolling up. Like that's clearly fucking aliens. I know aliens when I see
Yeah,
aliens. That cloud, that ain't right.
I've never seen aliens, but I've seen clouds, and that
Yeah.
cloud ain't right.
Right? So she sees it and then she starts hauling ass home, like same speed, booking it. Good for her. She's a runner, she's a track star. And on the way, she passes the same house again, her neighbor's house, and sees the dude that snubbed her. And I guess his whole family was standing outside, had their arms stretched up to the scary cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're looking up, so all their throats are kind of exposed, and you see all their throats had the squirming shit going on.
Yeah, like everybody had a weird Adam's apple.
Yeah, like a scarab was in there or something. And
Oh yeah, from the
then they all turn to look at Bryn at the same time, and like she starts legging it again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and before the scene changes, like we see the silhouette of a spaceship in the cloud. So she was right. I know an alien cloud when I see one.
I do really like that they still stuck with the whole kind of alien ship profile. It's just the disc, and you have the
That's all we
grays,
need.
and
Yeah.
it was fine. I didn't have any problem with it.
Oh yeah. I think it plays like it what am I saying? Even if they had done their own shit, it still could have
Mhm.
worked. But just keeping it as
They kept it simple.
generic
Yeah.
and simple alien, like the stuff was what everyone just kind of knows to be like generic alien shit, like flying saucer, big head, big eyes. Like
Mhm.
that's all we need. I mean, they do kind of expand on that we're about to get into it.
Yeah,
But
we got some variations on it,
Yeah,
but it is
the
still
variants are cool.
yeah.
yeah, but it is still very much the same alien profile that you've come to like
Yeah.
know and enjoy. You
So,
know what I
and
mean?
we
Classic taste.
We're
it
come to
works
get you.
because
Why? Mm.
they don't talk in the movie, so we don't need to explain nothing. We just already know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, those are aliens. It's an alien invasion.
Yeah, I suppose that also it leans on our pre-existing understanding, so we don't
Yeah.
even need dialogue.
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
less dialogue.
So that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, Brim makes it home and she looks under the blanket at the corpse and notices like a slime trail leads outside to a
Mhm.
plant. And she's at first she tries to look for it, but then she sees like, oh yeah, the cloud is still coming. So she gets back inside and she starts to prepare herself to fight back. And like we see her boiling water and blocking windows and
She's
whatnot.
trying to Kevin
And I was
McAllister.
like, oh
Yes,
no,
thank
she's about
you.
to, yeah, I said
When
it
it
too. She's
became
about to Home Alone
signs
these
in Home
aliens.
Alone, that's where I was like, hell yeah.
As soon as I saw her, like, oh, she's checking drugs, she's like, lighter, box cutter, boiling water. I was like, oh, she about to Home Alone these aliens.
She's got a paint bucket on a rope.
Look,
We're gonna
I got
stop the
real
wet bandits.
excited at this point because I was like, yeah, like what creative ways she's about about to do this. That was a little short lived though because
Yeah.
uh,
I feel like I was
look,
trying to think of her skills. Like she gonna make a dress for him.
look, so she's running around the house getting stuff ready, and like she doesn't see it, but as a viewer, we see that it gets like now it's pretty dark outside, and then we start seeing the light shine through the windows as she like
Mhm.
leaves the room, and it's I guess it's the spaceship like looking for her because they know that she in the house. Yeah, but she hasn't noticed it. But then we see like the nails that she hung a blanket over the, I think it was the door actually. I said window, but it's the door. Get pushed out one by one. And then the
Mm-hmm.
blanket falls and then light shines in. And like the light is also a tractor beam and it retrieves the alien corpse that was sitting in the hallway. And after that, like after light cuts off, Bryn runs to the basement and like down there is where she like does her sewing. But as she like shuts the basement door, we see in the background an alien drop onto the porch. So the alien follows her down there. Like we get this fun scene of her trying to avoid him, like hiding behind things. And then eventually she like grabs some fabric scissors, which if you know anything about fabric scissors,
Sharp.
sharp.
I
Like
also know if any other tailor saw her doing that with those fabric scissors, they'd be like, "I don't care if you defended your life.
yeah,
You messing those,
Don't use my
you mess
fabric
those,
system.
yeah,
yeah.
you
I swear to
only
God, you
use your
mess those
fabric
scissors up.
scissors on fabric. Look,
No, not on alien flesh. What you doing?"
look, I remember when Cherry got into cosplaying and she got some, she held them up to me and was like, "Don't you ever use these to open an Amazon package or anything. This is only for fabric." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." Yeah. So we get the cool scene where like something falls behind her and she turns around to look at it. And whatever falls, it actually kind of looked like an alien too. So even I was like, "Oh, what?" And once you realize, oh, it's not, and she turns around and he's chilling right there looking at her. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
crouched down and everything. And this shit was so funny to me. It was the way he was crouched down like sup.
Yeah, you gonna do this the easy way or the hard way?
Yeah, and like he wasn't within arm's reach, but he saw that she had the scissors, and then he just uses telekinesis to just snatch it from her. And like the way he does it, it flies towards him. So like for a split second, I was like, "Oh, did she just throw the scissors at him?" But then
Yeah,
it flies past his head and then sticks into a dress form behind him, and like he did it.
yeah.
Still pretty threatening. He knew what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, it was like, it's like, what you gonna do with those, man? Nothing, nothing. All right, now. Uh,
I know from the body, we can't have her have stuff in her hands. I
yeah.
figured that much out.
Yeah. Look, they might have somehow probed the dead alien's brain real quick and like looked at the footage the
Watch her
like
ass.
last few minutes.
If they didn't operate like off of like a hive mind basis,
Oh
so it's
yeah,
like as soon as something
Mm.
happened to one of them, all of them know it.
Yeah.
yeah. That's funny.
Don't eat hot wings. Damn.
Noted. Uh
Noted.
that's funny. And then like so he after the scissors, after he snatches the scissors, then he looks past her and sees the picture of her and Maud and he telekinesis it over to him and he's like looking at the picture.
He's like, "Oh,
Or while he's looking at the picture, that's when she hauls ass back upstairs.
hmm
But I call this alien the inquisitive alien. They all look a little different. So like this
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
has, I thought it was veins, but maybe it's markings or something, some sort of
yeah,
pattern, V pattern on like his forehead and shit.
yeah."
Uh,
I thought of this one as a like a peacemaker of some sort.
yeah, like he wasn't trying to like, or at least he cared more about just like figuring out what's her deal than
Like, yo, chill. Let's make a bargain.
not saying we still can't trust him, but
Hmm.
he wasn't straight up, "I'm coming to kill you." Let me look at this picture over here first.
Y'all look cute
Yeah.
in your little dresses.
But once she runs back upstairs, she immediately gets attacked by a shorter, angrier gray.
Yeah,
And like this one got short,
that's pop
stubby
off.
legs, long arms, big hands with claws, and like he just angry.
Hmm. Aggressor immediate.
Yeah, this one, like as opposed to Inquisitive Gray, this is short, angry Gray, and he's like out for blood.
He
Yeah,
wants all the smoke,
he's ready to
and he
throw
gets
hands.
it. He gets it too.
Oh yeah, so like he tackles her down, like her back is on the floor, and he's screaming in her face, and then she just bites the shit out of his arm. And this shit is so funny to me. This whole sequence is hilarious because he jumps off, and like this is when I'm also processing that like now they have personalities because that one was inquisitive, this one's short and angry, and like his feelings were hurt almost that he got bit, like because he turns around and screams at her, and then he even shows her his hand, like
See
motherfucker.
this?
No, I could. He's not using English, but he very clearly said, "You You bit me. Who bites somebody? Why you biting people?
It was so funny. And mind you, this is like a second, right? Like
It's so quick.
it was real quick.
It took me a moment to realize it was a second alien because
Yeah.
things were happening so fast.
Look, I didn't notice until the second watch, to be honest, because it was so dark and I wasn't totally sure. But yeah, so after she runs away from him, that's when she goes to the water she had boiling and starts throwing at him.
That part was great.
He's like, God damn. Shout out the Wolf of Wall Street episode when Omi kept throwing the water on Jordan Belfort.
Just go all the way in the other room, get a cup of water, and come back.
I just want to tell you how easy it is to make money on Primerica. Just please listen to me for one moment.
So after she throws all the water out, like she still has a pot with her, and like she's running from him, and
the tractor beam, right?
Yeah. So as she's running from tractor beam, like she runs past the window, and the tractor beam cuts on, and like catches the pot real fast, and you see it get crushed on the wall. Like, that tractor beam ain't no joke if it crush a pot like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't even pull it out. It's stuck.
She can't pull it out. It's like that's how you know, like, okay, that we're establishing that the tractor beam ain't no joke.
If I had a tractor beam.
But then little gremlin alien, this part is funny because I think he's doing this just to fuck with her. So he's like looking at the tractor beam like, oh, and then you see him stick his hand into it and it doesn't do anything to him. And then he looks at her and she's like, oh shit. And she starts running again. And like he runs through the tractor beam and then it cuts off behind him because like as the camera angle changes and you see him as he like comes around the corner, the pot rolls with him. The crushed pot rolls with him.
I think, we're going to get to the next part that he does, but I think all of the weird eccentricities of the aliens were really unsettling.
Yeah, because why? Why? Like, because even the Inquisitive one,
you got specialists.
Yeah, like
it's like, all right, Brainy, you go down there see if you can talk her into this.
Yeah. Okay, and then you also got the angry one to back you up. Like
he's like, I ain't talking.
One, he mad because he done got bit, then got hot water thrown on him 4 times. He watches Bryn run into the room. He just kind of like
he strikes a pose.
Yeah, he strikes a pose. He does this like he throws up a gang sign, and then and like Bryn's like, okay, I'm gonna go in this room and close this door. And like right before she closes the door, you see him just kind of pop up and hang on the wall.
Yeah, he's got a real chimpanzee kind of like gait about him. Short legs, long arms, kind of like hanging from the ceiling and shit.
And he's like, for a minute, because you're like, what the fuck is he doing with that pose?
Yeah,
what I know now what he was doing. He cut the tractor beam off. Like that's how they communicate with the ship is the different poses.
Yeah, they reveal that later.
At first it was like, yo, what the fuck are they doing? And then he like hops on the wall and just kind of swings as the door shuts. And we see him coming towards it, but like super casual. But as soon as the door shuts,
she shuts the door so softly too. Yeah, like, man, slam the door, shut the door.
He's still coming for you.
Yep.
Yeah, she shuts the door softly, like, all right, maybe he's chill. Psych. He starts
the end.
Starts headbutting the door, right?
Like Shining style.
Yeah.
Here's
Alien.
Right. Here's Marvin. Like, oh man. So he gets in and she tries to fend him off with the mop and he breaks the mop handle and she's like, ooh, I got a weapon. And she impales him with it onto the wall.
Yeah, and through the shoulder to an armoire, basically.
Yeah. So like I was like, oh, that's not gonna kill him. And but his head like is leaned sideways. And then she sees it too, and like the cupboard was open, so she takes the door and just slams it on his head.
That's Bryn 2.
Dang.
Aliens 0.
Aliens 0.
That was the clip that got me to put this movie on my list. It was the only clip that I had seen. I was like, that's too funny.
Her fighting back against the alien?
No, just that one scene where he gets impaled in the shoulder and he's kind of hung up on there. But he's on the hutch with an open door. She just walks over and just slams it on his face. I'm like, that That was funny. That was funny. But then she's, the next scene, she's like, "Oh, you know what? Best way to get out of here,
Oh yeah,
go outside."
go outside. Right? Well, she at this point she knows there's another alien in the house, so
Mhm.
I can't knock her too much. I'm not sure what I mean, I'd already be dead at this point, but
That's true. But at this point, though, we know that the tractor beams are coming from outside,
outside, yeah.
so
So
it seems
yeah,
a little counterintuitive.
yeah,
But she's
Yeah.
going on pure adrenaline, so I imagine it's just whatever.
yeah. So she flops out the window
Hmm.
and then notices she's being watched by another gray. Side note: when did you notice him? Because
I don't know. I
the
need to
second
see it.
watch, as soon as the camera cuts to her and you see the shed, you just see the top of his head and his eyes
Oh yeah,
glowing above the
yeah, that sounds
shed.
about right.
Yeah, and then he like comes from behind the shed, and it was just like, yo, he long as shit.
Yeah.
He's a long boy. He's a long spoopy boy,
Yeah, he's way bigger, and like he moves from behind the shed, and like we see how long his arms and legs are. But he's like,
which was unnerving.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like we went from humanoid to close enough.
yeah, that was a giant
Yeah,
spider.
it's funny because the one that goes down there to ostensibly talk to her in the basement is
Yeah,
like the
he's
most normal proportion one,
Hmm.
and then you get Chimp one, and
yeah,
then you
him
get
and the first
Slender
one that
Man
she
one,
killed,
Yeah.
they were like the human
Hmm.
ones.
and they have like an extra joint. It
Yeah,
feels like
Hmm.
yeah, or
to
at
their
least the long
forearm.
one does, right? The long one
Well,
definitely
I'm
long
looking
has.
at
one
long one. It looks like
definitely,
it
yeah.
has shoulder,
Yeah.
elbow, and then like another thing where the wrist
Yeah.
would be, but like
Yeah,
longer. It extends the
Yeah.
hand.
mm,
It is unnerving. Ugh.
yeah, yeah. Especially this part because
That
like, what?
means he can like hella fucking like when you hit your elbow, it hurts and you start laughing.
You got 3 funny bones.
He got too many funny bones. Call him Mr. Funny Bones.
I don't like that either.
I
That sounds
don't
like a
like that.
nightmare.
Mr. Funny Bones does not sound like somebody you can
We
trust.
don't talk about him anymore.
You say Mr. Funny Bones 8 times in the mirror, and George Costanza comes in and goes, "What the hell you doing? Don't say that."
So yeah,
Sorry,
so
I'll let you get on to the next part. Sorry.
Bryn starts to back up, and then she bumps into a man and falls on the ground, and it's the mailman from earlier. And then he drags her by the hair to a clearing in front of the house, and then you see on the far side the long boy alien.
He's like voguing in the back, just like with
Yeah, he's,
arms and
throwing
shit.
up gang signs and
Yeah.
shit. It was like, what is
Telling
happening?
the ship, we got this.
And then the flying saucer above, it starts to like do something. I also like kind of that design. Yeah, it's a circle, but it was like
Yeah,
the tractor beam was like boop, 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 like I don't know. It was
Yeah.
kind of like
it was
It-
kind of organic, but
I-
like inorganic shapes.
It made me think of a subwoofer.
yes, yes.
It was
In
weird.
fact, it even does that at some point. Like it lets out some sort of audio suppressing.
Mhm.
Did y'all hear that?
Aliens.
As soon as I said audio suppressing thing, I don't know, motorbike outside went. Whoop, 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 whoop. Anyway,
Nyuk, nyuk.
yeah, so the flying saucer starts to do something. And the whole time Bryn is struggling and clawing at the mailman's arm and stuff, and eventually she breaks free. And
Mhm.
like he tries to grab her again, and she kicks the shit out of him, and he falls backwards.
Perfect
just,
timing.
just as the tractor beam cuts on, and like man, that back breaking sound as the tractor beam like catches him from falling all the way.
Mhm.
Like I don't think it actually broke his back, but they put in
Yeah.
a back breaking sound just to let the effect get like completely nailed, which is amazing. Side note,
There was
because
some kind of physicality to it, right?
Mhm.
yeah, like side note, because there's such little dialogue, like the sound design had to be on point, and it
Yes.
totally
It
was.
makes everything more obvious because you're
Sound
just not
design was
hearing a lot of talking.
amazing in this.
And that was the other thing I was saying when I was going to compare this to like Shutter Island. Like the sound on this was so good,
Yeah,
and the soundtrack itself. Whereas Shutter Island was fine, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it felt like they kind of
I,
phoned it
I
in.
guess in that way, I also compare this to It Follows.
Oh.
Shout out to our
Okay.
least viewed episode.
Yeah,
Oh.
and because there was just something about like we're not going to understand these things well enough any more than the people in the movie. I loved
Yeah.
that much about it. She was constantly on her back foot, and so were we.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Yeah, that tractor beam part that was so
Ugh.
cool. The flying saucer above cuts the beam off and like leaves, and this upsets the big gray, the long boy, and like he gets pissed off and he starts chasing Bryn, mad as hell, back to the house. Then eventually, like she's in front of the house, and like the camera looks up, and he's crawling across the
The
top.
roof, yeah.
Mm.
And he,
And
he
like
howls at the moon
yeah, he howls at
ostensibly.
the
And
moon.
then
Or it looks like he's howling at the moon, which is hilarious. But then he's like, I guess he's calling out to other aliens, and then you hear them call back.
yeah, he
Mhm.
does look mad.
Oh yeah,
He's like crushing stuff under his grip, and he has a scowl, I guess.
yeah, like, yeah. You
And
can still see kind of like emotions on their faces. Yeah,
yeah, and then he eats shit.
yeah, and then he trips. I don't know if he trips or it kind of looks
That's
like
the angry trip.
body just goes limp, but I think he trips because his
That's
shit
the
is
angry
too
trip.
long. Yeah,
When you like mad about something, you're not paying attention good enough, you fall. But now you can't say nothing. You gotta stay mad.
Yeah.
You gotta get back up madder than you were, and just
Well,
you can't even acknowledge that you fell down. You have to keep going.
dude, he does great with that because he does that backwards, like upside down crab walk
yeah. Because he
across the
lands
grass.
on his back and
Yeah.
just instead of getting upright, he just
It's like, no, I meant to do this.
his head is upside down. Yeah, it's like,
Did you guys see that rock? Oh my god!
look at this scary shit. And of course he's backwards crab walking after her, and she runs into the car and he dives in after her. She gets out the other side, but now he's like trapped in the car and he's already pissed off.
Yeah.
Pissed off the spaceship left. He pissed off that he done tripped. And now he's pissed off that he's trapped inside this car and he can't like quite get all his body parts out. So he starts like flailing and he punches through the bottom of the Subaru,
Mhm.
and that like ruptures the gas tank. So gas starts spilling out. And Bryn's like, oh yeah, I got this lighter in my pocket. She pulls it out,
Good God.
ignites the gas, and runs and blows Long Boy up inside the Subaru. Rest in peace.
Okay,
Mhm.
like listen, that's Bryn 3, Alien 0. Do you just this is my thought at this point. At this point, I feel like the aliens are willing to give up on her, but they're still mad because, like, up until this point, you think anyone has ever given them this much, like,
Yeah.
given them this much trouble? Like, I don't think any of the space people have experienced someone this troublesome. Like, they don't have a contingency plan for a girl who loves autumn.
Her favorite drink is pumpkin spice, and they just don't know what to do with her.
This girl runs an Etsy shop. She is running circles around them. They've not had to deal with this any time before. The mailman didn't give them this much trouble. Nobody else up until now has been this slippery. They are so mad right now.
You're right.
The
Bryn
fuck coming
3.
back here and fall.
She's like a Tom Cruise level threat to these aliens. They just don't know what to do. It's because she's taller than Tom Cruise. She has an inch above him, so she's just that much more effective.
She runs
Like,
just
what
as
are
fast.
we supposed to do? She just keeps running. I don't know.
Oh man. Oh shit. Oh
I
yeah.
kept hoping when she was in the woods with one of the aliens and they were dying, she would just be like, "You one ugly motherfucker."
I just wanted
First
to
line
pick
dialogue.
one and be like, "Welcome to Earth."
Oh, dude, think of all. Oh, we could just come up with one-liners for every time she kills an alien.
Yeah.
For her.
Mhm.
Oh man. So yeah, Bryn runs back to the dark house and like we see alien fingers open a doorknob and it's to Bryn's bedroom and it's the inquisitive one from before. And like he comes in and he starts checking out all her sentimental mod shit, and Bryn comes out from where she was hiding and she was about to swing on him with the trophy. What that trophy's for? Probably running or sewing.
Right.
Killing aliens.
I was going to say
Apparently.
improv alien dispatching.
Home
Little
Alone.
did you know I'm the champion.
She's the 2019 Macaulay Culkin Award.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But yeah, so she goes to swing on this on Inquisitive Boy, and without even turning around, you just see his hand twist, and her ass goes flying through the wall, through the wall,
To the window.
Skeet.
till the sweat dry. And,
Please don't. It's a different alien movie.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I was not really expecting him to be possibly more on the ball and slightly aggressive than the other two, because that was
yeah,
he didn't compromise at all. He was just like, nope, you're threats now. You're I know too much about you. Back off.
yeah.
I'm
He's like,
wondering
look,
if the markings denote them being like of like a higher level, so everybody else is a normal gray, but if you're gray with markings, you're I don't know.
maybe
Because the other ones didn't have telepathy. This one does.
the
Oh, that's a good
first
point.
one did,
Or
but
no,
not
I'm
Longboy
sorry,
didn't.
telepathy, telekinesis.
sorry.
Telekinesis.
The regular humanoid ones had the telekinesis, but Long Boy and Short Boy didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, sucks. That's
Sucks to
probably
be
what,
tall or short.
Like
probably
pick
what Long
one.
Boy was mad about. Was like,
See?
The aliens
look,
were
if
like,
I had the fucking telekinesis, I
it's like,
wouldn't have to chase you.
they was like, all right, pick one. Do you want a physical strength or do you want brain power? Shit, I'm smart enough.
Yeah. Do you want to play hoops?
Whoa,
Hell
wait,
yeah.
Brain power was like moving. You didn't say it was that. You didn't say it was moving stuff. Well, I said it was brain powers. I figured you would. I thought, well, man, obviously you weren't smart enough to give the brain powers. So we're
Exactly.
glad we gave you the extra arms.
Oh man. So yeah, she flew through the wall. And like she gets up and she tries to make it to another room, but Inquisitive Boy sees her.
He's
And
like, where are
like
you going?
and we get this cool shot of the tractor beam cutting through the window, a red tractor beam this time, and like freezing her from behind.
Yeah,
Like
was it the
or
red one? No, I
Mhm.
don't think it
this
was.
one was the red one.
Yeah.
Where the camera is behind her, so we just get her get frozen in red.
Yeah,
And
she's
the whole
waving
time-
like, hi.
And
It's like,
then,
we're done with this. You going up?
so whoever was controlling the tractor beam, what they were doing was like she's standing upright, and then it throws her onto the ceiling,
Mhm.
drops her, catches her before she hits the ground, and then throws her back onto the ceiling, and then like so she's stuck on the ceiling now, frozen, and we get this cool shot from her perspective of Inquisitive Boy walking into the room, but since it's from her perspective, he's upside down. Like that was
Mhm.
cool. And
He's
he
looking up
walks,
at her.
yeah, he walks up under her, and then he floats. I guess he telekinesis himself up
Yeah.
towards her, and he's staring at her in the face. She's stuck staring at him because her face is frozen. And then he like opens his mouth and starts like gagging. He coughs up a
God.
hairball, an alien hairball, and then it unfurls into this like tentacle looking ball thing. Like
It's like an egg almost.
yeah, like you know them little squishy balls that like
They pick up every piece of dirt possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those things like
Or
I
like
don't
the
know,
old school octopus you could throw against the wall and it would like climb
Yeah.
down.
Comes down.
something
miss
like that, right? But that's a perfect description. And
It's all
then it
covered
like
in lint and dust.
Yeah.
it floats into her, or he opens her mouth with telekinesis, and then the hairball goes into her mouth and like down her throat.
Didn't like that.
Yeah, that was
It was gross.
rough. Yeah, and then of course
Well.
the sound design is amazing. So it's yeah,
Yeah. And one eye goes
Oh no,
Out.
that was
Yeah,
that was
basically,
wild.
which was like the worst
Real
part,
quick.
I feel like.
I forgot to mention
Mhm.
when Inquisitive Boy was walking in, he was like beatboxing. His little clicks and grunts were like it was like 2 on beat. Like
He gonna be in a Mega Ran song. You better watch out.
like, he came in the room, it's like, got your ass.
Your butt is mine.
Death Grips playing in the background. Tachyon!
That's alien music.
That,
Death
yeah,
Grips is alien music. That's why he don't wear shirts.
dude, that song would go so hard on this soundtrack.
He's the long boy alien, just in a different form.
But yeah, so Bryn wakes up in a dreamlike state to find it's daytime and the house is fixed and everything's nice and bright. An adult mod comes in through the front door to see her, and they're both happy. But then Bryn apologizes and she shoves her hand down her throat,
Yeah.
and it cuts from the hallucination or whatever to real life to her pulling the hairball out of her throat. Like she
Yeah.
will not die. Look, she's
Again, the aliens are like, make a mental note. Like, make a mental note. check every person to see if they have an Etsy shop. This could be a problem.
She said, "Joke's on you. I hate lens flares," and she pulls it out of her mouth because that's all it is just sepia tone lens flares.
It's like y'all don't remember. My friend was an adult. I'm not stupid.
Yeah,
she died as a kid.
It's interesting because it's like they're using this to kind of help her get over her trauma that she lived. Because they haven't really explored.
They haven't figured quite the right way to convince her everything is cool. And they messed up at this stage. This is another stage where they messed up.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I thought, you know, you'd like to, like, it's like they're putting her in the Matrix, and you're living your dreams of being with your best friend, but she's like, nah, this shit ain't real. I'm trying to live. So yeah, she wakes up out front of the house after she got the hairball out, and like the hairball like wiggles itself out of her hand and I don't know, wiggles away. But then she gets like, remember I mentioned that the flying saucers could like put out this like vibration, this sound jank that like suppresses her. So it was like boom, and so she's holding her ears on the ground, and then it sends down a yellow tractor beam to the hairball, and it starts. It like creates a clone of Bryn in the tractor beam. And then the hairball climbs into the clone, which is wild shit when you think about it. And so Bryn, after the sound goes away, Bryn gets up and like she runs into the woods, but then eventually she stops and she finds that the clone Bryn is behind her. And like she's taking it all in, like, oh my god, it's another me. But then Clone stabs her in the belly a couple of times. And once again, Thug Life Bryn was like, nah.
She cannot be stopped.
Nah, can't be. Look, she pulls out a box cutter, because remember she found a lighter and a box cutter. She pulls out the box cutter, slashes her clone's throat. Like, nah, I'm the real one, motherfucker.
Chekhov's box cutter.
Yeah. I was going to say that same thing about the lighter.
Look, and like the clone like dies and she like comforts it too, like, it's okay, I'm up for.
I think it's just also a new trauma that she gets to experience of killing herself.
Yeah.
Look, it's metaphorical.
Aliens in the mothership are standing there right now like, look, we don't have a lot of other ideas.
So like,
this is the fourth.
We're running out of ideas, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
So her getting Maud back, but then rejecting it, knowing this isn't real, was her, you know, part of her.
So that was the fourth. This is the fifth.
No, well, I mean, that was a hallucination, so I'm not counting it. But I'm just saying,
it was the
metaphorical, like her leaving, like her starting to push the past away, putting it behind her, and then her killing herself is her killing her old self. Like, all right, I'm letting go. Like, I'm not about to be this lonely girl anymore. Because also, why are you fighting so hard if you got nothing to live for? So like it just, that realization. I don't know if you ever seen Gravity. Gravity, Sandra Bullock's Gravity.
I don't think so.
Right.
Like her
she
daughter
fell
died,
out. She fell out the spaceship.
Yeah, she's stuck in space, floating around, and it's like, how bad you want to survive if you got nothing to live for? And
yeah,
but you know, she's like, well, shit, I do want to live. Fuck it.
I got nothing to live for, but that don't mean I don't want McDonald's tomorrow. Come on.
She said, look, I got 5 stars on Etsy. Like,
that's why Bryn's been fighting the whole time. She got 2 packages to send tomorrow.
Do you know what I had to do to get those stars?
So we see Bryn making her way out of the woods and holding her wounded belly, and then we see another long boy Gray, and he comes down the path and like he throws up some gang signs, and then the tractor beam catches Bryn and pulls her up, this time up to the spaceship. And in the ship, still frozen in the tractor beam, she's examined by some regular sized Grays, like not long boy, short boy, but the regular ones.
Yeah, there's some more inquisitive boys.
Yeah, in fact, you see Inquisitive Gray in there.
Yeah,
the rest of them don't got the thing,
the markings.
He's up there like, I told y'all she was hard to catch. Y'all thought I was lying. Why you think?
Welcome, Mr. Bond.
And so like 4 of them touch her head at the same time, and then we're thrown into a memory sequence where we see younger Bryn and Maud having a fight in the woods, and Maud pushes Bryn down, and Bryn angrily grabs a rock, hops up, and smashes Maud across the fucking face with it.
And That whole scene really artistically like
Mhm.
neat to
Yeah.
watch.
But like you said, that's the same way she killed the first alien, you
Yep.
know, not like going across his head, but this time with a rock. Then we see that she's been writing a Dear Maud letter since, and adult Bryn kind of like comforts young Bryn,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and like the grazer, and then we like it pans out and you see like the grays kind of in the background watching it. So the aliens,
They're all like, "Oh, this is more than you saw from the pictures,
that's
huh?"
why her life sucked. And so the aliens converse with each other in their language, and then they come to a decision or whatever by, I guess they all look up, and I guess whatever that the ceiling is them communicating with their
Corporate.
boss. I guess, yeah,
Corporate,
corporate.
yeah.
And like then whatever, however the scene works, we get the sense that okay, corporate approves of their decision to do whatever, right?
hmm
And then we see Bryn getting up on the ground, parasite free. There ain't nothing in her throat now. Next scene, we see Bryn wake up. She's all happy. She's getting ready. She's putting on lipstick, gets in one of her fancy dresses. And then we see the dude who snubbed her in the beginning of the movie, his family and the rest of the town welcome Bryn with open arms now. But we also see that they all got fucking alien parasites in their throats still. And the movie ends with a dance number in the town. I guess they're having.
It's her little song from the beginning that she
Yeah.
was using the little dance steps to learn, like somebody from the 40s.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. That's the other part of it being like very like retro is that like
Mhm.
she's not even watching a YouTube video to learn how to dance or something. She's
yeah.
got the little
What
steps.
what do they call that? Anachronistic?
Anachronistic.
Anachronistic. Yeah.
I'd say yes. I mean, you're right, but
Mhm.
like there are small towns that still do them little Friday night dances, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So like that's what it was.
Yeah,
And,
they're all
like,
they're all one big polyamorous community.
Well, I like she was dancing with Homeboy like that, and then she
Yeah.
started dancing with a girl the same way. I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, the pendulum swings. Okay.
She got her groove back. She only had to kill 5 aliens.
Yeah, so we see that Bryn is not under alien influence. The rest of the
Mhm.
town is, but it don't matter because Bryn is happy now because now she got friends. They might all be freaking controlled
Aliens.
by aliens,
Uh-huh.
but at least she got people to talk to now. She's not lonely anymore. Happy ending, and like the camera pans up and you see that there's still spaceships above the town.
Yeah. You do have one instance of a fourth wall break because she looks directly at the camera. Like
Yeah.
it's a music video to a,
Yeah.
a musical number.
It's like
or
the end,
something.
end of a Bjork video. Like, oh,
She's like, it's like, okay, that's probably the scariest look in the entire movie. Like
Yeah.
acknowledging my presence in a movie? No.
People are probably going to argue with this, but I'm going to file this under the good for her.
Yeah.
chapter.
No, seriously.
Like
This could have gone.
Midsummer
This could have
and
gone
other movies
completely
like
off the
that.
rails.
Like,
She wins.
It was the only it was the only ending to like a scary movie where like Last Girl seems better off. You know
Yeah.
what I
Final
mean?
girl,
She's
Well-
healed her trauma. Her Etsy store is still doing numbers.
No, there's a whole genre called not genre, but the genre is horror. But like,
Yeah,
there's a list of
trope.
movies that end like this, where
Mhm.
the good for her, like everything it's technically it's really freaking unsettling,
Yeah.
but she's happy.
Right.
as long as you're happy, sweetheart.
Will
Yeah.
nobody else make it?
Her
but
her looking into the camera is a lot like Michael Jackson looking at the camera at the end of
Thriller.
Thriller. It's like it's just like everything's fine, or
It's the
is
wolf
it?
eyes.
Yeah. Somebody should Photoshop the wolf eyes onto her.
We just get a Vincent Price laugh track.
Yeah.
Just put at the end.
That's funny. Oh man, so yeah, that's
So-
the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spielberg saw it shortly after it came out,
No
and
shit.
he gave it super praise. Not Steven Spielberg. I'm so sorry, Stephen King.
King.
Stephen King
good.
saw it shortly after it came out. He gave it high praise on. So I don't know if it was Twitter or somewhere on the internet, and so like that also helped fuel the hype around it.
He's like, it was no Dreamcatcher, but it was pretty good.
Spielberg is like, that's a pretty good movie. Wish there had been a scene with underage kids having sex, but
Oh.
whatever.
It's okay. You're still early in your career. There's plenty of times to really just have that scene in one of your movies.
Great movie. Should have taken place in Derry, but
Yeah.
no, but yeah, he really
Wish
loved it.
everybody was white.
Yeah.
But,
There's no Skarsgård, but I'll let it pass.
But yeah, so favorite aspect of the movie?
No
Um,
talking.
No, t-
no, that was so wild. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
I think it made it stand out, and I think it forced them to do other things to compensate for the lack of storytelling within like dialogue.
It felt
Yeah.
like a foreign film for the 70s, a foreign 70s film. There's so
Funny
many
you should
movies
say
where
that.
you just had to like take it in.
His
And
vibe.
some of them that would like purposely not use a lot of dialogue
Mm.
because they know they were trying to take this to international audiences. So it had to come across the screen in a completely different way than speaking. And I used to love that about some of the weird art films that I would see, like especially like when I moved to Wilmington, I would go to this place called it's still here. It's not like it's gone. There's a place called Jingo's Playhouse, and they have little like events, and then they have like a festival. And a lot of times the movies that were like this were always my favorite.
Stephen King said that he said you'd have to go as far back as a specific episode from the Twilight Zone from the 70s to find something that's nearly like it. So it's funny you said that. Yeah. Favorite scene? I'll tell you mine.
Please.
Right.
It was when she runs back into the house. Well, after the tractor beam backbreaking spot. After she runs back into the house and Inquisitive Boy comes into her room. That whole sequence from just how he opens the door, turns the doorknob with his long ass fingers.
Yeah, he's kind of like caress the knob enough.
And then the camera shows the door opening, and he's just in the crack of the door, and it slowly opens, and how he just walks, like just that whole creepy feel. And then Bryn trying to attack him, he's just like, nah, throwing it out. So everything from that, and then down to her trying to run away, and then the red tractor beam catching her, all the way up to him coughing the hairball up was just like super creepy, but neat, but also a little funny. Like it was. I had a lot of emotions in that scene.
Favorites. I don't know if I have a specific favorite scene, but one that I really did like was when they first introduced Longboy, because you really get an idea for how the aliens communicate with one another.
Yep.
And just the physicality of them. Yeah, right. YMCA, and then yeah, so definitely one of
it. Mine is a aggressive alien being like, I can't believe you hit me, girl. Why did you do that? That hurted. Why did you do? I'm trying to. Just straight up was like, no.
You see this shit? Yeah.
Dad, no. He's like he's scolding a pet.
Oh man, and then just his whole little thing too, like him messing with her, and then just like, oh man,
I can't believe you've done this.
Did you go, Ren?
No, I mean it was just Tallboy.
Oh, yeah, you did go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say MVP character, but we already know
it's Bryn.
Ghostface Bryn.
Yeah, it is.
5-1. She beat the aliens so bad they conceded. They're like, you can stay human. Damn.
They could have killed her in the ship, but they're like, look, you done took out all our annoying friends.
Well, it was just straight up like, man, she killed so many of us. Let's look into her mind and figure out what the hell is wrong with her.
Look,
she been killing since she was 10.
Yeah,
you need to leave her alone. You can do whatever. If we need you, got our back. If we need you, don't you? Yeah, we didn't even realize that you about to kill the mailman. He do nothing to you.
We need to call the specialist. Hey, Bryn.
Bryn, we're gonna need you to go to Washington D.C. There's a man, and we need you to bust him upside the head and tell him to stop messing with us.
Oh, man.
It's like, you're one of the aliens, aren't you? No, my name is Bryn, and they're my friends.
So I would say favorite character, but not favorite character. Which favorite alien?
Oh,
I'm Inquisitive Boy. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I like Longboy. Longboy knew what's up. He gets frustrated sometimes.
No, I really liked Aggressor because he was like trying his best to do his job, and some girl with an Etsy shop bit him.
Just fucked him up.
Like,
yeah.
it's like, when you mean she bit you? She bit me. Well, dude, just attack her. She likes fall. What's the difference? I don't know. She hurted me. I'm tired of this.
If he had a voice, he would sound like Charlie from Always Sunny.
No. Doesn't
Just has
sound
that
like,
look.
dude, I was gonna say him or Joe from Memento.
Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah. Or that one actor from Sideways whose name I can't fucking remember. Paul Giamatti.
What's that Boston?
I'm not sure if you were
what's
on
that Boston comedian? He's
Bill
got
Burr.
red hair. Bill Burr. It's
Yeah.
Bill. He could have a Bill.
I'm not sure if you were on that episode, but Tim did an impression where he did all of them talking to each other.
I think it was. That sounds familiar.
It was a Memento, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Shout out the Memento
I'm just
episode.
coming out on the space, and there's a girl named Bryn, and her name's Bryn, and she's biting me. She's biting me. I don't understand. She's biting me. What am I supposed to do with a biting? Ow!
This is off topic, but they keep playing this commercial for Always Sunny where Danny DeVito's like, "Why did you tell me we had a bathroom?" And and Charlie says some shit. And he's like, "Charlie, we piss in cans, Charlie."
I saw that scene. There's a whole extra room in their apartment. They could have been not sleeping in the same room, and he's just like, I don't like the room. It's like, it's too much. It's like, what?
We piss in cans, Charlie. I'm sorry, but yeah, dang, I should have looked up some funny Letterboxd reviews. I forgot. I'm gonna do it right now if y'all don't.
No, you continue. I'll look it up real fast.
Okay.
You can't mess with Bryn.
But
Bryn is my dog.
Okay. Hypotheticals. I think I already kind of did if you were Bryn in this situation, but just in general, I was talking about a specific scene earlier, but in general, what would you do, Tim?
I don't think I would have made it past the first alien because he kind of killed himself. She had something in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
He spun her around.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to grab something.
She held her arm out and would have stabbed. That would have been the most killing I would have gotten away with. Because after the first alien, I wouldn't have wanted to be in the house. I would have just ran, and they would have caught me sooner. Because they'd have been like, "Nah, that's all right. We got this one." But Bryn had like way more erratic, untrackable strategy.
Look, it's almost like she didn't know what she was doing. And I don't know. That's a good question. Did she know what she was doing? Like, what's the over under of her knowing what she was doing and just getting like in the moment?
I think she was just the right amount of erratic
tendencies.
just the right amount of unhinged and fearful.
Because the only thing she really planned for was the hot water, the box cutter, and the lighter.
Hot water burn alien.
But yeah, Dog Life Bryn, damn, alien got shooters out here now.
You have to wonder if like the aliens are like communicating with other aliens in another town, and they're just like, "So yeah, we got a Bryn. She's pretty cool." Like, what do you mean? Oh, we kept a human because she like kicks ass.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Well, yeah, she like killed 5 of us. 5? What the hell are you talking about? It took 6 dudes to kill one of us in the Arctic. What did y'all do?
You think if Inquisitive Alien got back to the flying saucer and was trying to talk to the other ones, like, "Yo, we should hold off on this one. There's something about her," and they're just like, "There you go, liking white women again."
Oh,
He's like, no, it's not that. It's not that. I mean, just like she had a friend. She's really lonely. There's something about her. I feel a little sorry. And they're just like, "Oh, here we go.
Here we go."
Always like the crazy ones. Always like the crazy ones. Look at she has a record player and she dances by herself.
Just another one of them gray saviors. Just a gray knight.
Other alien was like, "I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. We got to save who? We got to save."
I am looking some of these Letterboxd reviews, by the way. Some of them are exactly what we said.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Is like
right.
the Home Alone-ification of signs.
I'm
like, yeah.
So
it tracks.
Let me hit you with some of these Rotten Tomatoes I found.
Please.
Sadly, the lack of dialogues feels more like a gimmick than a strength of the storytelling here.
Okay.
Deaver is terrific as always, but where it ends up going can't help but feel like a letdown.
Yeah.
Jim, shut up.
Yeah, that
Look,
guy needs a swift kick in the
Jim
pants.
Jim
it
is in the
was so
director's
good.
club on Rotten Tomatoes, and he should be kicked out.
It was so good that I didn't even realize that they weren't talking for
Yeah, I didn't even
a
think about it.
long time. Yeah.
It finally hit. Not even. It was after the phone call that it hit. I think it was
Mhm.
when she got spit in the face. I was like,
Oh yeah.
nobody said nothing. What the fuck?
I think that's about when I noticed it too. I was like, yo.
It's like nobody said anything in here. What do these people hate her? Yeah, all the tomato reviews are just kind of like, really, dude, really, get out of here.
Blue worms.
What is by the end of the rambling mess of a last act, it's clear that no one could have saved this. Dear Benjamin, shut up.
Jesus Christ.
Like, come on. There's 101 reviews, and it's about 50-50. Like, some of them are like, oh, this is really great. Yeah. And then others are just like, meh.
So apparently trauma puts you on the exempt list for abduction, I guess, because like that's the difference. Is like, if you don't want to be a soldier, you cut your toe off. They can't draft you. It's like, oh well, if you, I don't know, don't want to get abducted, just accidentally murder your childhood friend, and all of a sudden you're too emotionally scarred to be
They didn't
abducted.
watch the same movie.
We got these aliens.
weren't
They're like
impressed by it.
totally fine with keeping a white woman alive. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, you got some alien creature that will not stop until it has killed all the black people in the desert. Tisk tisk.
So this one is by Jonas Hagberg on Letterboxd. I can fix her, said no alien ever. Now it's not funny because it should have said
What?
I can fix her, tag alien. That's funnier. But he didn't like the movie though, so whatever. Fuck these reviews.
Yeah, I don't
Final
understand.
thoughts.
I don't know what there is to say about this movie that we haven't really expressed already.
Yeah.
I think they did well, especially for how small the budget was. I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did.
You go ahead
But
and just add in your
yeah.
ratings then too.
Oh yeah, I frankly I would give it the same rating that I would have given Shutter Island. You know what I mean? Which is like a
Pretty good.
7.5 or something. Yeah, it's totally recommended. It's not like a huge story about man and the condition of man and what we're willing to do despite knowing, the burden of having to kill yourself rather than live as a monster. But it is just like, it's this character. It's how she lives. It's kind of how she chooses to live. She's more comfortable in the end living alone, ostensibly, but surrounded by aliens, because at least she's not alone,
Beats what she was doing before.
Yeah, and she didn't need anybody to save her, which is also kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No one will save you because
you saved yourself.
Yeah, because you were a social pariah before, and lo and behold, you didn't need to do it because, I don't know, you fucking ripped ass monster, alien slaying, Etsy having, pumpkin spice loving. I don't know. It was a lot of fun though.
I like to imagine that she introduced the aliens to pumpkin spice, and
like,
they were like, "Why are we attacking these people? Holy shit! You came up with this."
Deleted scene with her at the cafe with Inquisiboy, and she's like, "Try this," like it's some pumpkin pie. And he's like,
he's like, "Wow, there's a lot of sugar in this, but I love it."
I hope you're not lactose intolerant.
All right, Tim.
Oh no.
My rating, as usual, is whether or not I would recommend this, and wholeheartedly, yes. If I knew somebody that was into the movie I referenced earlier, shoot, I lost the name of it. The first one we did. It Follows. If I knew somebody liked It Follows, I'd say you're gonna dig this movie for a lot of the same reasons, but I think it might actually be content wise better. Yeah, I think it's like a third movie we did. Yeah. Like, it's content wise, I feel like it's a better movie. It's fantastic, like in a lot of ways that I didn't expect it to be. It's just good.
All right. I thought it was pretty great. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I would definitely buy this DVD. If it came on Criterion, I would get it on the Criterion sale. I just love fun little movies. and this one fits. And like you said, it's only 90 minutes, even though it feels like it's longer because it takes us on such a ride.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, I'm with it. I'm glad it
There's a
came
lot
out.
of cool work in there.
And I love these type of movies where like it wasn't even on my radar. I didn't know it was coming. It was just like, hey, there's this movie on Hulu. Everyone's talking about it. Oh, let me go look. Oh, snap! Like,
yeah, some things are like I don't know if you guys watched the Fear Street series that was on Netflix a little while ago.
Yeah.
Some stuff you managed to get into before it gets super hyped. I think Fear Street also did like an excellent job with what they set out to do. This is like another one of those movies I got lucky enough to go into blind.
Okay.
But yeah, 100%. Same thing as Tim. I would recommend this to.
I watched Fear Street after the fact, but I still enjoyed it. There was one that was really good. Like I remember it was like, for me, it was like one was okay, one was good, one was great. But in general, I take the whole package. But it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they'd do something this year, but I haven't heard anything about anything. So,
I mean, you know how the streamers work. Like sometimes you don't even know anything, and all of a sudden it's just like, what? Where does this come from?
Yeah.
Like this.
I don't know how often that's planned, but yeah, we just forgot to talk about it.
Oh, I did have one tiny criticism of the movie, which sounds dumb. As good as everything looked in the movie, even though it was very dark, it was not lit very well. It was lit very dark. I guess that's part of the zhuzh. But the one thing is, as good as everything looked, the fire was a little bad. But it's so short that you don't really get to like worry about it.
I didn't even notice it.
I was probably noticing a little too well, but
that's when the 23 million
they ran out. They were out of money. The barely 2 seconds of digital fire was not so great, because I think they actually did like a physical, like real world explosion.
They blew up the car.
But I think the initial lighting of the fire underneath the car for that split second, I was like, oh, that looks weird. I also have set a lot of fires. You never
actually did leave that assisted care facility. Did you?
Oh God! I worked there the whole time. No.
Guy's like, "Hey, you got a lighter for a cigarette?" And you're like, "No, I don't smoke." And you reach in your pocket and there's a lighter. You're like,
dun dun dun.
But all right, that's the episode. Plugs.
Ooh, same old for me. Just keep an eye on my social media. I don't even know what I'm up to right now. I was gonna stream more often. I got into Starfield and I am doing it. So if you want to come by my Twitch, DD Sluggers. If you find a different DD Sluggers Twitch and it's a baseball game, you're on the wrong one. And I hope they don't do that. Now that I've said it, I really hope they don't do that. I don't even know how good they did this year. Usually I keep up with them. I need to check.
Same thing as usual for us. We're just Power Bummer everywhere. Trying to get back into working on stuff in general, just so I have more money to do dumb things, I guess. Which is actually probably be responsible with my money. In case anybody listens to this, I'm being responsible. But yeah, that's it. Nothing crazy, nothing new. Just
responsible man I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Fiscally, financially sound. Fake it till you make it.
All profits from Power Bummer goes into savings bonds.
Yes, I know what that is.
All right, and you can follow the podcast at SGBK Podcast on Threads, Blue Sky. You can email us at sgbkpodcast@gmail.com. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, tell your mamas, yell at us online. Yeah, follow me personally, Tifzilla or Tifron on Letterboxd. All right. Next week we got we're doing a double feature next week. Malignant and Barbarian. If you don't know what they are, don't look it up. Just look
go straight to the movie.
And just go straight into the movie. Yeah, double feature. Hey. So next week. Bye.
Laters.